We are bigger. We are stronger. We are better as a city when we make sure that everyone has a shot.
That was on Tuesday night as Bill de Blasio was talking to a crowd after receiving a little over 40% of the vote as it stands, which, if it holds, he would avoid a runoff and would be the Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York in this November's race. He is now live with me in the studio, the present public advocate for the city of New York and the presumed Democratic nominee, Bill de Blasio, assuming the numbers hold up. Let me start there. Will there be a runoff, Mr. de Blasio?
Rev, I think the numbers will be consistent throughout the count, and we will break that 40% number. A lot of folks in the Democratic Party are calling for unity, which I appreciate. But the bottom line is we're going to keep, talking to the people of this city about where we need to go, the changes we need to make, the break from the Bloomberg years, the need for a progressive vision for New York City. I'm going to keep doing that until all of the numbers are resolved in the next year.
Have you talked to Bill Thompson, your closest opponent?
On Tuesday night, we talked. He's someone I've known for many years.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for, and he made clear that he wanted to look at his options, and I respect that.
You haven't talked since Tuesday night?
No, we have not.
Let me go to another opponent. If you are the nominee, as it appears, the Republican nominee is Mr. Loder,
yes.
Joe Loder. And he said today, and I'm quoting him, that your campaign divides people. How do you respond to that?
Rev, I think it's divisive to not talk about the problems we're facing. We just had the worst economy since the Great Depression. We had a city government study, a New York City government study 2 months ago that said 46% of the people of the city are at or near the poverty level.
46% in the city of New York?
In the city of New York. Unprecedented.
Okay.
It's divisive not to bring that out in the open and talk about the inequalities that this city is facing right now. And it starts with income inequality, but let's talk about healthcare disparities and hospital closures. Let's talk about disparities in the education system, in policing. If we don't talk about these things, we can't make our city better.
But if you do talk about them, you know that those that have not had to deal with them, or in some cases even benefited, are going to come after you with a vengeance. I mean, they're going to get ugly. Loder's saying you're dividing the city. Mayor Bloomberg said your campaign was class warfare and racist. I mean, are you ready for the attacks, and your family's going to be under attack? Are you ready for what could come between now and November?
I think I'm speaking to the world's leading expert on when you stand up against...
Yeah, but I've been in these battles.
You've been in them, and you've only gotten stronger. And I think I borrow from your example and some other great examples. We're talking about the truth here. We're talking about the fact that folks are hurting in this city, that the city government is not doing all it could do.
Right.
To address these inequalities. And I think what will happen is that message will actually energize people looking for change, and I think it's a clear majority in the city who believe we need change. Yes, the attacks will come. The way to answer, I think progressives need to learn this lesson over and over, the way to answer those attacks is to stare them down and stay to what we believe.
Is your campaign racist, as Mayor Bloomberg said?
That was a very interesting choice of words and a very inappropriate choice of words. My campaign represents my family. I'm extraordinarily proud of my family. Governor Cuomo, to his credit, came out after those comments and said he knew my family very well, and if he were in my shoes, he would have portrayed them too.
Do you have the stomach for this, and your family ready for the kind of stuff that may seem like it's not connected, but is used in a way to really try to play on fear and divisions in this city?
As for my family, I'm so proud of them, first of all. I will say something that you'll appreciate. My 2 kids were born in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They're products of New York City public schools. They are plenty tough. They can handle it. They're not surprised. My wife's not surprised by anything. As for me, I served in the Dinkins administration. We had everything thrown at us. I was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager when she ran for U.S. Senate in 2000. There, every conceivable ridiculous charge thrown at her on a daily basis. I've weathered these storms. If anyone out there thinks they're going to divide this city by somehow portraying a multiracial couple as something bad, I think the people of the city will reject that.
The fact is, you did help run Senator Clinton's first campaign. I remember that. Are you planning on asking the Clintons to come in if you're the Democratic nominee and campaign for you? And will you ask President Obama to come in?
Look, I'd be honored by support from leaders that great, to say the least, but I've talked to each of the Clintons and had very cordial conversations. They kindly both called to congratulate, and I asked their advice, and, you know, we'll see what happens going forward. But I think the bottom line is this is a moment where Democrats have a lot to be proud of, including, of course, President Obama. We have a lot to be proud of in the way President Obama has moved this country forward. I think the fact that there are Democratic leaders people admire so much is going to have a big impact.
Because we haven't had a Democrat elected in New York since David Dinkins,
well,
since
right.
1989.
20 years, and I think it's a Democratic, with a capital D, it's a Democratic moment because people look at names like the ones you mentioned and admire them in this city, and they're ready to see a Democrat in City Hall.
Well, you know, one of the ways you can tell they're taking you serious is Jon Stewart did a thing about you last night. I want to show you something.
And now, the smackdown.
And the entire de Blasio family, including son Dante and daughter Chiara, did a weird gymnastic move that brought huge tears from the crowd.
Adopt me? You got Chiara, the confident daughter. You got there Dante de Blasio, the self-assured teenage son who's so charming and so charismatic. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Will you adopt Jon Stewart?
We'd be honored to have John join the family.
So this show is a review of the reviews, as it were. Been watching politics for 10 years. This is my manifestation of trying to make real the idea of blogosphere.com back in 2004. Yeah, that was me. Didn't do anything with it. Went and joined the law firm. Alright, and you may notice that a lot of the reviews, well, it seems to be quite oriented towards MSNBC. Well, there's a reason for that. One, we get to keep alive the Keith Olbermann tradition of paperwork in your camera face. But seriously, more importantly, MSNBC is the only cable news network that I know of and have seen. And I used to watch Fox News quite a bit years ago when blogosphere was in my mind. And I wrote many a treatise on the current issues going on back then. But they are the only network, MSNBC, again, whom has, or that has, Republicans on point. Scarborough country until the Imus debacle. Now he's on in the morning, and that's like, you know, 3 to 6 in the morning here, Pacific time. So I don't get to see him as much. But you got S.A. per se, per se on the cycle, and they have plenty of Republican guests on it. They even used to have Laura Ingraham and Ann Coulter on there. This is MSNBC. That's why we cover them. All right, so they're on every day. They have such great material. My intent is to try to bring these things to you, in case you missed them, for posterity's sake. And so you may be asking, well, the Tai Chi, well, you're not demonstrating martial arts. No, the Tai Chi martial art came long after the Tai Chi. The symbol of yin and yang, the origin of yin and yang is right here, the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I wholeheartedly recommend it as reading for anybody of any faith because it's the only book that's given me peace. And it's not so much a religious or organized religion kind of a book. It's more of a spiritual, philosophical guideline as to how to get along with everyone and everything in the universe. Alright, so I've set it up. So at the end of each show, I'm going to try to read a bit of wisdom from the Tao Te Ching and also quote something from myself that represents the right of center, since she can't talk, because a lot of times MSNBC does represent the left of center, or just the slightly left of center viewpoint. The only Republican talking points you might get is vis-a-vis the guests. So I'm going to prove that I'm a little bit right of center and present things to you such as it may come up.